everyone. We are so happy that you're here with us on this December Wednesday afternoon. Hope everyone's doing really well. Um, my name is Megan Faulkner. I'm the program manager for SAIL, which is the Summer Academy to Inspire Learning. We're out of the University of Oregon, and we try to support students all across the state as they're starting to think about what kinds of knowledge or skills or strategies they need as they think about their pre-college journey and their journey into higher education, what they're going to do after high school. So really happy to share some resources with you. Just wanted to let everyone know the YouTube live function, so where you're watching from, has a chat, and we have a wonderful SAIL mentor who's there and can help answer any of your questions or relay them to our presenter today. So please ask any questions that come up for you at any time. You don't have to wait for a specific point or for us to ask or for the end. We're here to answer your questions and get you whatever information you need to make this a really useful presentation for you. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Rosa Maria, who is our guest speaker for today, and I'll let her introduce herself. Thanks for being here.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this presentation. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, everyone at SAIL, for inviting me to present to y'all. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday so far, and hopefully you take some time to maybe go outside for a little bit. It is sunny. So again, as Megan said, my name is Rosa Maria and I work at Lane Community College in the admissions office. I'm the admissions and recruitment coordinator. And I primarily work with high school students, especially high school students in the area. So Lane County. So if you're, tuning in from one of our local high schools here in the area, you probably have seen me in your hallways at, your school events. In terms of promoting Lane, you might have also seen me at a regional college fair that we host almost every year, except with the exception of this year for obvious reasons. But that college fair happens at the University of Oregon. But hopefully, maybe you've met me there as well. So I'm just gonna, do a presentation around Lane Community College, and I'm gonna highlight a few things about Lane, especially for those of you who are juniors and seniors and, are starting to think about college and what you're gonna be doing next. So I understand that if you have questions, there will be people answering them. And if there's questions that you have in regards to something that I say at the moment, someone will let me know, will give me a heads up. I want to make sure we get your questions answered, especially if they come up as they're relevant to the topic that we're talking about. But we'll have some time at the end for you guys to ask questions as well. So a few fun facts about Lane, especially if you're from the area and you're not really sure. And by the way, this picture that you see is a picture of the main campus. Many of you have probably visited the main campus either because of an event or a campus visit, or maybe you had something there for your high school where they used their facilities. It's a beautiful campus. I've missed, my office and our view and stuff. I haven't been to my office since March, so it's definitely nice to look at this photo. So Lane Community College is the third largest community college in the state. There are 17 Oregon community colleges spread out through Lane, throughout the state. And we're the third largest community college with a student enrollment of over 14,000 students. So we are in many ways bigger than many of our private schools and some of our public universities in the state. Our average class size is around 18 students per class. Because of the way that community colleges are organized, we work very closely with our local businesses that provide internships for our students, especially if there are students working on any of our certificates or two-year degrees that are more applied. Students will have an opportunity to work with a local employer and get some of that hands-on training. With our domestic students and our international students combined, we have over 50 countries represented of students who attend Lane. And as a community college, not only do we have students who are your age, that traditional student graduating from high school and enrolls at the college soon after, but we also have students who are older students who have graduated in the last couple of years, maybe took some time off and are now thinking about school. And then of course, our international students. So those are just kind of a few facts for you to, kind of be thinking about a little bit about the college. I know for many of you who are local high school students have either heard of or currently participating in our College Now program, which is a program that we have with all of our area high schools here in the county. And it's a program that allows a student while in high school to earn college credit through us. There are approved courses that you take at your high school. You're in, your high school campus, taught by your high school instructors, but you're earning the college credit through us. I can't emphasize how important this program is because students, especially if you are attending one of our big schools, or big school districts like 4J, Bethel, perhaps Springfield, you have a lot more opportunity to take some of these College Now courses because you have more teachers that are qualified to teach them. And so the classes that are held at your high school, students earn both high school and college credit, dual credit. The classes are free. There's no fee attached to it. And when you're, even if you don't attend Lane after high school, we still want you to, we want to encourage you to take College Now courses. And the reason is because in many cases, especially if your high school offers college writing, various math courses, maybe some psychology courses or some other courses that apply to the degree you're trying to pursue, whether that be Lane or a different school. It is very important that you are able to take those classes there because, again, you're not, there isn't fee attached to it, and it will help you be more prepared as you enter into a college or university with, having that college credit earned. A lot of times when I speak to students, when I'm in a high school, classes that I recommend the most that you take are those college writing, those College Now math courses, because those are going to be the more kind of generic courses that can be applied to any school, regardless if you're attending Lane or not. The website, the link that you see below this, on the bottom of this page, is the website to the College Now program. One thing that you might want to look at on their webpage is the College Now courses offered at your high school, especially if you're not aware which specific ones are being offered. You want to make sure you take a look at it. The next step for you would be to contact, to meet with your counselor and to find out, can I take this class? Because ultimately you'll want to be giving the permission from your counselor in order to take a class. So make sure you do that. Usually the College Now courses are available for current juniors and seniors. Very rare do freshmen or sophomore are allowed to take these College Now courses. They're usually reserved for the juniors and seniors. So if you are a junior or a senior graduating this year, there's probably opportunities you can take some of those College Now courses. And again, you'll have my contact information, so you'll be able to contact me if you have specific questions about any of the College Now courses. Also, when you think about a community college, we're very different from a four-year university. So at Lane, and in most community colleges in general, we admit 100% of the students that apply to Lane. So 100% admissions rate. And we have credit programs that are broken down into career technical programs or transfer interest areas. So career technical programs are essentially one-year certificates or two-year degrees that are applied, which means that they focus on a specific a set of skills where we prepare you to enter into the workforce. Those degrees typically do not lead to a university, to a bachelor's degree or transferring to university, because the certificate or degree, you earn it and then you're ready to start work. And I believe that there is a question here in the chat. How many college credits can you get through College Now? Is there a limit? There isn't a limit, but I have learned from students that have earned, something like 45 credits. Again, just because your school offers College Now, it doesn't mean that you want to take every single College Now course credit. You want to be able to take classes that make sense, especially if they are courses that can be applied towards the major that you want to pursue wherever you may be heading. So wherever university you may be heading. What kinds of classes are available with College Now? It depends on the high school. Some schools who are small offer very limited courses, like maybe they focus on business, maybe they focus on health medical, maybe they focus on computer science, perhaps industrial trades, or maybe they focus on kind of very generic courses like writing and math. Will College Now credits transfer to other places? Yes, as long as the university accepts them. And like I mentioned earlier, the main College Now courses you want to focus on are like the writing and math. Those are very generic enough for you to be able to transfer that to any college or university within the state of Oregon or outside of the state. But if you take like a automotive class that your school offers, that very likely a university might not take that, might not accept that, but they'll offer very generic courses. Do you have to live in Eugene to take College Now? For us, you have to you have to be attending any of our local high schools in Lane County in order to take College Now. I would recommend that you connect with your counselor to see if your local community college, if you're tuning in from outside of Eugene, Springfield, or Lane County, that you work with your counselor to find out if your local community college offers a similar program. They might not call it College Now, but they might offer some dual credit. Do the classes fill up? Yes, they do fill up, which is important that you, as you're setting up your schedule, that you talk to your counselor to find out which College Now courses you are able to plug in and take as a junior, as a senior. Usually they're reserved for students who are not behind on their general kind of requirements for graduation. So if you're ahead of the credits required as a high school student, usually are reserved for those students who are like basically not in trouble of graduating, who are really on top of it. Are they always taught at high school, or are there some I can take on campus? This is a great question. The College Now courses are all taught at your high school by your instructor, and those are the ones that are free. If your high school offers a College Now classes, but maybe they're not offering a College Now course that you're interested in, you are still you can still enroll for classes at Lane for credit. It just won't be free, and it wouldn't be a College Now course. But that is something that we see a lot for smaller schools of students who want to take like a specific class, but their school's not offering us College Now. Students can register for those classes, but it won't be free, and it would be like a regular course. Are they a lot harder than high school classes? They're definitely more, you're earning college credit, so they're going to be a lot more advanced than your regular high school classes. So a lot more is going to be required of you because you are earning that college credit. Great questions, you guys. So again, as an institution, we also have students who enroll at Lane to complete their first 2 years of general educational requirements and planning to transfer to university. So students might be looking at choosing any of our transfer interest areas and simply completing those transfer degree requirements to be able to transfer to university. So those are kind of the main two options that our students are looking at, either a career technical program, so like earning a degree from us that's more applied, or looking at starting with us to save some money their first years and then transferring to a university. So as I mentioned, we don't offer bachelor's degrees. The highest degree that you can earn at Lane and really at most community colleges, especially here in the state of Oregon, is an associate's degree. And we have multiple associate's degree depending on your major, but we also have certificates that students can earn from us. I strongly encourage all of you, especially if you're considering coming to Lane, to take a look at our list of programs, because we have so many programs that we offer that some are specialized and tailored to a specific degree, transfer degree to a university, or specific certificate tailored to our local economy. So make sure you take a look at our list of programs, and then feel free to send me an email, and I can be more than happy to provide additional information. Many high school students also ask us about dual enrollment. Most colleges, community colleges, have some sort of dual partnership with their local universities. We happen to have dual enrollment with both the University of Oregon, also local here in Eugene, who's sponsoring this event through the SEL program, but also Oregon State University in Corvallis, not too far away from us. So we have seen an increase of dual enrollment interest this year, and part of it has to probably do with COVID and students having to be studying from home and taking their classes at home. So this is not a required program. It is managed by the universities, whether that's U of O or Oregon State. In order to qualify for dual enrollment, students must be admitted to both institutions and complete an additional form that you would get from either U of O or Oregon State. You can see the links there to get those, to get that additional document. For us at Lane, you still need to complete our admissions requirements, but you are not, we're not a competitive school, so you'll get admitted right away and be giving instructions on what to do next. Benefits of dual enrollment: you have more access to professional staff who are there to help you as it relates to academic advising, course planning, more access to campus resources. Students are able to split their financial aid between both campuses, especially if you want to take kind of those generic courses at Lane for a more affordable price. Students are able to split their financial aid, and especially Oregonians, who are students who are in high school, you are able to use Oregon Promise funding as well, as long as you are enrolled in a minimum of 6 credits at Lane, and use that additional funding as well. And what I hear the most from a lot of students who participate in dual enrollment, not so much this year, but pre COVID, is the ability to live at the university's residence halls, but primarily be enrolled at the community college, in this case, Lane. We also have study abroad opportunities. We are going to be adding some more study abroad opportunities soon. They're in the works right now, but we have some study abroad opportunities for students who might be interested in studying at any of these countries that you see listed here, and for those specific majors that are also listed on this webpage. The way that our 2+1 programs work, study abroad, is students spend 2 years with us, taking a very busy schedule, a lot of classes, and then transfer to that country for that particular university for that program, and then do one more additional year and earn a bachelor's degree in 3 years instead of 4, and then having that study abroad experience in addition to earning your bachelor's. We are not currently sending any students right now, but it shouldn't stop a student from completing your first 2 years of general requirements to be able to apply to that school your second year of the program, and then be there your third year to complete the bachelor's degree. It looks like there's a question as well. Is this program more expensive than LCC? So the thing that will change is the third year, because the third year you're actually, studying abroad. So it will depend on the international fees for the student that third year. But the first 2 years, it should be the same that regular student will pay. And you do earn a degree from us. So, if you say you were to want to travel to New Zealand, study abroad, you'll earn our 2-year graphic design degree, associate's degree. But then if you're interested, you can do 1 more year to also earn a bachelor's degree for additional year, which will be more tuition fees. Is there financial aid available? How does it work? There is financial aid available. Both, I believe that these programs do qualify for federal student aid, but also these universities have reserved funding for students around scholarships who would like to transfer. And I believe some of these countries, I think it's France, maybe France also gives a stipend and also gives students the ability to work there if they choose to. And I think they also provide like health insurance as well, from what I've heard. And I think that applies to France. I'm not sure about New Zealand. All right. So Lane also were the one of few community colleges. I think we're one of the 3 community colleges in the state that offer student housing via our Titan Court facility. This is at our downtown campus. For those of you who are not from the area, or even if you're from the area, if you are going to be, attending Lane full time, you want to have that on-campus freshman experience, that is something that's available to you, where students can live at Titan Court and, live with other Lane students and have that experience of living on campus. I've heard from many students that they love living there. It's fun because they're around other young people. It's convenient. It's in downtown Eugene, which is, if you're not going to have a car, it's accessible to use public transportation and all that. So check it out, especially if you're looking at, housing choices for next year, especially those that maybe are thinking about moving out of your house or, coming from out of town and you're looking for housing. We also have some athletics, and of course, athletics is going to look very different with us than it would for a big university like the University of Oregon or Oregon State. We do have college athletes that are either looking at improving their skills on their athletic abilities and, looking at maybe transferring to a Division I school. And so they'll need a little bit more assistance and coaching from a community college coach. Or maybe there's some of you who want to continue to play athletics, but maybe not go to a big school and maybe play at a smaller school, and maybe thinking about heading pro or something. Either way, our coaches work with each individual student depending on what your goal is. But students do represent the college as a student athlete in these various sports that you see here. And I would say that the sports that we get a lot more attention from is track and field, cross country. That's a natural fit given where we live and the hype for track and field and cross country in this community. But the rest of our sports students do very well as well. So any of these sports, if you're looking at playing as an athlete, definitely get in touch with their coaches first to find out about what they may need from you and any kind of specific dates around tryouts and stuff. So this slide here is just to kind of give you a sense about the cost of attendance currently at Lane versus our 3 main public universities. We get this question asked a lot, and I am glad that students ask this question because you should be asking this question in terms of how much is it going to cost to go to your institution. So the number you want to really focus on is the tuition and fees. Room and board, it really depends because if you're a local student, you may be able to get waived by not living on campus. It really kind of depends on the university. But if you're looking at saving, your first year, 2 years, for a student who attends Lane versus a university, it's half the price that you're looking at saving your first year, and then of course your second year. So if this is a difference to you, definitely, keep that in mind as you're looking at where you want to attend. Living expenses, the second table that you see here, it really depends on the student. Our local students sometimes pay around this amount, maybe less, maybe zero. It really depends. The same would be for books and supplies. It really depends. This is why it is very important that as a high school student, senior, that you're not only, and even, lower class students who are, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, that you really make sure you do well and you get a good, you work on your GPA, you keep a strong GPA, because it will make a difference in your senior year as you're applying for various scholarships and opportunities. If you're looking at going to kind of a more bigger school, university. For those of you who are seniors here tuning in, hopefully you've already submitted your FAFSA. If you haven't, there's still time. Make sure you do that. I'm sure you've been hearing that from your counselors, from your school to career coordinators, and from other folks. So make sure you get that in as soon as possible. I believe the folks at SEL had a session around this, or will be having a session, so they're available to assist and work with you to make sure you get this in. When you fill out a FAFSA, you're being considered for state and federal grants, loans, and work study to be able to work on campus. There's also an alternative version of the FAFSA called the ORSA for students who are undocumented or are DACA recipients. So if that is you, make sure you fill out the ORSA. Do not fill out the FAFSA, fill out the ORSA. That's the alternative version for Oregonians. So get that in as well. For Lane and all colleges, we also have a foundation of scholarships where students can fill out their scholarship application. And our application will be available early January, usually like the 3rd of January, and will be due early March. So make sure you also make note of, applying for scholarships, especially if you're serious about attending Lane this next school year. You have, a break coming up. So things that you can do as you wait for the application to be posted is you can start working on drafting those essay questions that are already viewable to anybody. I think our essay questions are like 150 characters, which is not even that much. It's like a paragraph. So it's definitely worth applying for scholarships if you make the time for it and, prepare. Especially not only this scholarship, but scholarships in general. You want to, if the scholarship application requires that you have, reference letters submitted, or you would like an adult to review your essays, we want to make sure that to let folks know in advance, to provide that information in advance for folks to look over. You don't want to, give something or make a request, a day before it's due. You want to give folks time for them to look at your information. For those of you, again, who are seniors graduating from an Oregon high school, you also have an opportunity to apply for the Oregon Promise Grant. I think you've heard about it in previous sessions. I believe OSAC was invited to a presentation similar to this. But if you're like me, I like to hear things, multiple times in order for it to click and, for kind of me to start understanding a little bit more. So Oregon Promise is a state grant in Oregon that pays for tuition only at any Oregon Community College for recent high school graduates. So students graduating this 2021 or students earning a GED this school year as well. The application became available October 1st. And the deadline is June 1st. You have plenty of time to get this in. If you haven't, it really takes about 10 minutes to fill out the Oregon Promise grant application. Other requirements to be eligible for Oregon Promise is you must have a 2.5 GPA or higher at the end of your senior year, or passed all your GED test. And you also must have a FAFSA or an ORSA submitted, and planning to attend any of the 17 Oregon community colleges within 6 months of graduation. So those are kind of the basic requirements to be eligible for Oregon Promise. And then as far as like our admissions, again, especially for those of you who are planning to come to Lane, these are our admissions requirements for Lane. Starting with an application for admissions. If you're a College Now student, you're receiving college credit, you have an L number from us. You still need to apply for regular admissions, Tulane. Your L number will remain the same, but you still need to apply for regular admissions to the college. In addition to that, you must complete course placement. And course placement is going to look very different depending on the student. So some of you may have College Now from your high school where you've earned college credit with us in writing and math. If you do, your course placement will be waived. Other ways to get course placement waived is you can use any of the scores or high school GPA in writing and math that you see listed here. We have what we call the placement survey that you would fill out in order to self-report either scores or high school GPA if you want to get placement waived this way instead of taking the placement test. So there's multiple options to complete this step. And then of course, the step after that is orientation and then registration. Here's a couple kind of dates to help you in your planning. I'm a big fan of deadlines and kind of looking ahead and seeing dates of what's coming. Kind of use this as a checklist if you like. Maybe the folks that sell may have something similar, where you can check off different things. But these are probably the 3 months or the 4 months and stuff that I strongly encourage that you to apply for these various applications or completing admissions process and stuff. So hopefully you'll be able to remember this or take a picture or look back to this presentation after the recording is posted. But yeah, it is very important that you keep track of these deadlines because if you're interested, most of the work has to be done on your end, and then there are folks around you who are able and willing to assist if you need a little bit of help and stuff. So as always, I encourage you to follow us on social media for any kind of up-to-date information about the college and what we may have going on. As it relates to events that are coming up or opportunities. So if you're not already following us, definitely make sure you do at any of our social media pages. So for those of you who need to get a hold of me, here is my contact information. My main email is the one you see listed here. I'm pointing to it. This is my main email. So if you want to get a hold of me directly, this would be my email here. If you want to email our generic admissions email inbox, it would be this one here. If you want to give us a call, you can give us a call at this number, and you can certainly ask for me, or anyone from our team will answer that. We'll answer your phone call. Other steps you can take is you can take a virtual tour. I'll show you where to find that. You can sign up for an online info session that we host 3 times a week. You can request information about a program that you may be interested in, and then, of course, applying to the college. I see that there's some questions here. Let's see. Would you recommend going to community college before university? If so, why? I think it depends on the student. I would say probably the main reasons why you might consider a community college is if you are trying to save money, especially your first 2 years of general education, because at a university, you'll be taking general educational courses the first 2 years anyways. But I would also recommend students to choose a community college if you're not really sure what to major in. And maybe you still want to go to college, but you're wanting to do some more kind of exploration in terms of, what you really want to major in rather than committing right away. And so a lot of times a community college may make sense because not only are you working on kind of, figuring that out, but you're also taking very generic courses for a lower price to be able to, still count that as requirements. I think probably those are the main reasons. I think, there are obvious, circumstances where a university make sense for a student, especially if you've applied there, been admitted, and maybe you received a very, a great financial aid offer that will help pay for most of your school. Then, obviously you may consider university instead. What are some of the most popular programs at LCC? So some of the most popular programs at LCC include anything in our health, medical, and fitness. So nursing is very popular, dental hygiene, physical therapist assistant. We have an excellent culinary program. We just started about a year plus ago a cybersecurity program, a 2-year degree. We also have a nationally recognized graphic design program and I think we might be one of the 2 schools in the state that offers graphic design. And then we have many programs in industrial trades. So if any of you are looking at like apprenticeship or welding, construction, manufacturing, you might be thinking about our flight technology, becoming a pilot in the future, or aviation maintenance technician, so working more on the kind of mechanical piece of it. We also started a new program called Unmanned Aerial Systems, which is a fancy word for a drone program. So that's a new program at Lane, and we're going to be starting some, new programs, but probably those are kind of the main ones that I would say would get the more attention for. Okay, are there any partnerships with LCC and local business for jobs, apprenticeships, scholarships? Yeah, like I said, kind of in my first slide, we work with over 800 local employers that provide internships for students. That includes apprenticeships, that includes students who are in or certificates and 2-year degrees are required to do an internship as part of their degree requirements. So they'll be working with one of our local employers. What I love about that is because students who complete a apprenticeship, they can use that as a work experience. Obviously they're earning the credit. But what we find is that many of the students who participate in that end up getting hired eventually after they complete their degree or certificate from us through that local employer. The other thing too about those local employers is they're important to us, and because they also provide scholarships through our foundation so that we can continue to promote these kinds of programs so that ultimately those students or graduates end up working for them after they graduate. What are the biggest differences between community college and university according to you, students? So as I mentioned, or earlier in our conversation with the folks at SEL, I was, I'm a University of Oregon alumni. And so I've been through that traditional route of being, a freshman starting there. I actually spent 5 years at U of O, lived on campus 4 out of my 5 years. I loved living on campus that I, ended up living in the dorms for 4 of the 5 years I was there. I would say the biggest difference between community college and university from my experience as a university student and now as a professional at a community college is that community college students generally want to be there for reasons that, they weren't necessarily like, they're there because they're ready to be college students. And so a lot of times what you find from students is that students are very much encouraged by the commitment from our faculty because classes are so small, and the attention that a student gets and being able to build a relationship with a faculty member, maybe participate in some research opportunities. I think another thing is many of our students, especially local students, they want to live at home. And so, want to continue to be living with their parents, but also having some independence and going to college, in this case, a community college. So both are great. Both I've seen. I think in my experience as a university student, as a freshman, is that I appreciated the University of Oregon because they provided so many opportunities to be involved, which, at a community college, you will also see that. But as a first generation student, I felt very lost, especially in my first term, my first year as a college student. Felt very lost in a very big institution. I was away from home. thankfully, I've met the right people while I was there and was able to find a community. That's not always the case for many students. And so I strongly encourage you, if you're thinking about a big university, to definitely be mindful of that. If you're going to be away from home, to make it, to really get yourself out there to meet other students and build connections. I think the other piece, especially as a freshman, my first term, is one of the first classes that I had my first term at fall, was that I signed up for Business 101. And if anybody has ever taken Business 101, sales students, or even the folks, the staff at sale, Business 101 at the University of Oregon is like a couple hundred students. And so that can be intimidating if you're not really familiar with college much, if you're, first generation student. And so that was a little intimidating for me. And now as a professional, as a, community college employee, our Business 101s, classrooms are like 20 students, 18 students. So there's a huge difference in there. And so you'll have to figure out, do I want to go to a really big school where, it's going to be a little bit more harder to meet more students, but you also, may live on campus and it will be kind of more natural to meet students? Or do I want to go to kind of a smaller school like Lane or community college where, it's going to be more affordable. You're going to be able to, be in smaller class sizes and stuff. Is there work study available at LCC? What kinds of jobs are there? Yes, we do have, so work study, just to be clear, work study is not something that is available to all students. It really depends if that's offered as part of your financial aid. Not all students get work study offered, but those of you who do and you accept it, there are many jobs that you can work at Lane and use your federal work study. So some examples could be, you could work at our office as a student ambassador and lead campus tours. You could work at as a tutor. You could work maybe a teacher assistant. So there's different jobs that are available. Most departments have, some work study positions available where you might do some filing, kind of clerical work. It depends on the department. What is the acceptance rate at Lane? So the acceptance rate for general admissions is 100%. But if you're trying to get enrolled, admitted to one of our kind of medical programs like nursing, dental hygiene, physical therapist assistant, or some others, those ones do have a much lower acceptance rate because they're competitive programs. So those ones do require a significant amount of paperwork and additional requirements in order to be admitted to those programs. What's something that you think is special or unique about LCC? See, I've been working at the college for 11 years now. And what I really love about the community college student and the people that work there is there is a sense of being a community because we're so small to some extent. And I think what makes it special is that in a single classroom, you are going to have students there who are students from another country, international student. You can have students who are older. You're going to have students who are young, who are, just graduated high school, 18-year-olds. And so that makes it very special because you have different perspectives in a classroom where, everyone comes in with a different experience, a different generation in many cases, and perhaps a different country. So I love that aspect. I love where the campus is located. It's a very pretty campus. I think that makes a difference as well because it allows students to not only be away from kind of the busy Eugene area, but also be able to easily meet people through the different opportunities within the college as a student. Do you require SAT scores? We don't require SAT scores, but you can submit SAT scores to get placement waived. As you heard me mention earlier, there are various ways that you can get placement waived. And one of those ways is to submit SAT scores via or placement survey. That's just one of the options. There's other scores or high school GPA that you can submit to get placement waived. So I think those are all great questions. Thank you, guys. I think that might have been the end of my presentation. And if there are other questions that you may have, I am happy to answer additional questions. And actually, let me show you one more thing. So from our website here, lanecc.edu, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, there is a take a virtual tour. So if you click on it, because we're not, doing on-campus tours, students can go here and actually take a look at a virtual tour of our campus. There's videos, there's photos, there's information that you can look at and kind of navigate your way through the, the various spots at the main campus. So thank you, guys. Very great questions. If, I'm here for, however, I think another 15 minutes if you have any additional questions. But other than that, thank you guys for the invitation, for allowing me to share some information. So I'll pass it on to Megan.
Yeah, Rosa Maria, thank you so much for sharing all about LCC and for answering all of our great questions and going. I think I popped out for a second, but now I'm back.
You did.
I did. Now I'm back. That was like magic. I think we're still live. So I think before my internet really takes a dive here, maybe we'll wrap up and say bye. But Rosa Maria, thank you so much for meeting with us today and sharing and answering all the questions. And like she said, if you have any more questions, I'll go ahead and post any of the links that were mentioned in the slideshow as part of the description for the YouTube video. And Rosa Maria, I also have a copy of your presentation. So I will go ahead and put that copy of the slideshow if you want to go back and look at any of that information or share with your family or with your friends. That'll be available too. So I'll make sure you have those resources. But yeah, as always, you can definitely contact us or contact the admissions office at LCC, and we'll help you as best we can. So thank you so much, Rosa Maria, and happy holidays to everyone. And we'll be back on January 13th, same time, same place. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.